Hi everyone, I'm Adrienne and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going a 12 by 12 scrapbook layout and I am actually doing a challenge for Kadola kits, and I'm using the September kits. So I normally use two things to draw my inspiration from, so today I'm actually drawing it from the photos and also obviously the challenge. So the challenge is use two different thickers. Okay, so this is Maggie Holmes Willow Lane collection, and I'm just making about an inch border around here using my trimmer. I didn't quite measure it properly. I don't know what I was thinking when I was doing that, so I end up having to just use my scissors to just cut those little bits out. Sorry about my head there. Okay, so no one's going to see that if you muck it up a little bit, but pretty easy just to cut those corners out. Cool, so that's my border, and then I'm going to use a white piece of cardstock and I'm just going to trim off, I think it's 2.5 centimeters, and that will give me a nice 1.5 centimeters, sorry, and that will give me a nice 1.5 centimeter border around the edge. Just a little touch of something to make it interesting. I'm going to use the inside of the paper and just fussy cut out some of the flowers that are on there. So the trick with fussy cutting is to actually move the paper, not the scissors. Now, to make it easier, if you cut around the bit that you want to use roughly first and just use a smaller piece of paper, it actually makes it a lot easier. But sometimes I just like to make things hard on myself, and having a nice sharp pair of scissors helps too. Okay, so don't make you watch me cut all of those out. And I'm just going to use my Scotch tacky glue just around the outside, just to glue that middle piece in. Sorry about my head throughout this video. I found I really do need to look directly above what I'm doing to be able to get things square. Okay, so these are the photos I've chosen. So if you can see there, it's at night and it's got some beautiful blues and pinks in the sky. So I'm using the colours to draw this layout from. And this is actually photos of me and my husband fishing on the pier, or at the local pier. So it was a really nice night, and yeah, just something different that we did that we don't always do. Okay, so I've purposely, these are actually not proper photos, they're actually on a sort of a card type material. So I purposely left I thought about making an even border all the way around, but then decided against it because I thought actually those wider spaces would be quite cool to just have some embellishing down, and what I put on there will just pop off the white. So that's what I've done with the photos, and then I've just done an even small border around the photos and just using my trimmer. So now I'm just going to start sort of putting things together. So I really liked putting these flowers on the inside, and they were obviously the fussy cut flowers from the inside of the paper. So I thought that those would be really quite cool, and they're the start of my embellishing on the sides. Okay, so I found a tag in my stash and decided to use one of the distress oxides I have there, but that doesn't make it on the page. And I've chosen another one now. It's a little bit bigger, and using the actual distress oxide was not working for me. So I got out my dauber from Scrapbook.com and used that, which worked a lot better, just to give the tag some dimension. Now what I'm doing is using the stencil, which actually came in the Caterholic Kits September kit, and just using the distress oxide again. I think it's Stormy, and some rose gold embossing powder, and I just want a messy look. I don't want it to look perfect, so I'm just putting a little bit of rose gold on, because I will still want to see some blue, just so that it's patchy, because I'm working off the pinks and the blues for this layout. And I'm just doing it in all the spots that I want to do all my embellishing on. Once I've done that, I just use my heat tool. Make sure you heat it up for 30 seconds or so before you start using it. And I just find if I swipe it backwards and forwards about 4 times on the back, it actually works a lot quicker when I go from the front. So fairly simple. Now I'm going to put my photo together because I know where I want it to go. So there's no point in letting it fluff around the page. So I'm using some adhesive foam and decided to make it quite dimensional. And I don't want it to go right to the edges because I want to be able to tuck things in and behind the different layers. So it's only adhesive on one side, so I'm just using double-sided tape on the other side to stick them together. So there's my bottom piece, and there's my photo. Okay, now I start working the page and trying to figure out what else I want to put on there. So I do fluff around quite a bit with different things. I decided to pop this up because I've already decided that I want it to be there, so I put that there too. That's that tag that I'd done, and I already knew what my title was going to be, so I quickly did that. So it was fishing, so I used these rose gold and navy thickers that I had in my stash, and I actually got them from my sister when I went to visit her. She didn't want them. So I just put my title down there, fishing, and they're in capitals, but I wanted to use the 2 different thickers for my challenge. So I went through the September kit thickers that I had, and I chose these 2 dots, which are actually from the bottom of the exclamation marks, to be the eyes, just to give it a bit of, funness to the layout. Okay, so I'm trying to work with the pinks and the blues and everything, and these are in the September kit, these ephemera pieces, but when I looked at it, I just thought that the pink wasn't quite right for me, and just bringing in the green wasn't working for me either. So I decided to just build with the fussy cut flowers. from the paper and try that instead. That's what I did. So fairly easy. Now I've gone back to the same Distress Oxide colour I was using before. Don't worry, I'll link things down below, the colours and everything. And I'm just using my water brush and just using a little bit of water and just popping some spatters just in the 3 spots where I'm doing all my embellishing. Now I really like the look of how the flowers are placed and the leaves and everything that I've cut out, so I'm just gluing those down, making sure they don't move, and just gluing them in between the layers to give some dimension. Now this piece here I actually glued too far out. I needed it to tuck it in a bit more, so I actually had to break off a bit and then just push it in there. So that's what happened with that one. Now I didn't realise that top left corner flower that I put on actually had 3 sharp or 3 straight edges, which I didn't really want. You see down the bottom there, I wanted to look natural and not cut off, so I positioned that flower in the top of the photo so that the leaves were sort of covering that straight line, so that I could so you didn't see that. And then I just cut down the bottom that was sticking out, the bottom flower, so it didn't look weird with a straight line as well. And there was also, I don't know if you just saw that with my dauber, there was too much white showing there, a white line, so I just went in there on the side of the photo and just used the dauber just to soften that white so you couldn't see. I glued it too far and left a line there, so that's why I did that. And yeah, I've just gone through and you see the rose gold Nouveau crystal drips that I've used to finish that layout off. So thank you guys for stopping by. I hope you get some inspiration for your next project, and I will see you next time. Bye.